Warning, this podcast contains bad words and stories about drugs and sex and overthrowing the government. Proceed with caution. Thank you. And now on to our show. Wake up, brother, we got nothing to do. Let's go outside, just me and you, and build a fort. We'll pack a lunch, won't be home till after dark. Then after dinner we can sneak back out. You know that high school girl I've been telling you about? Well, she gets undressed about 8:45, and we can watch her do it from the big old pine next door. She got a room on the second floor. Well, looks like another fucked up day in paradise. Daughter of Godcast, Season 4 choice, and this is episode 130, Vive la Fille de Dieu, or Hooray, Daughter of God. Paraphrasing. I'm juggling 3 balls. Really? Really? Am I really? I am right now. Here we go. I'm juggling 3 balls. Look at those. 3 balls. There's not enough time in this podcast to talk about all the balls the cosmos is juggling for a daughter of God. You know, and this is just a party anyway. We're just celebrating. We're here to share the crazy fun. So I don't need to give you all the details of everything that's going on, all the balls that are in the air right now. This is day 3 of my monthly water fast. It's all about the ketone boost, cognitive turbocharge, and flesh optimization. Do I look and sound a little bit haggard? I feel mostly fantastic. Who knew that not eating could be so miraculous? You know, most everything that I was taught is wrong. Wrong. And you can see me again with sync sound if everything is functioning properly. We still have a little bit of a issue, but you don't even know that with luck. You won't even know that there's an issue. But anyway, you can see me now thanks to the new laptop. The death of the old laptop that we talked about in the last episode happened to be auspicious. It'd been running really slow for months, like, oh God, agonizingly slow to get email and to bring up things on the browser and to open documents in Open Office and Neo Office. It's just like, it took forever to do stuff. And it turns out that when Zeb, the CityMac tech, opened up the case of the ruined laptop, there was all sorts of corrosion and junk on the motherboard that had been there for a while, probably from repeated condensation over the past couple of years. So the coffee incident was just the coup de grace, or the blow of mercy, that just ended the laptop's life and forced me to get a new laptop that is so much faster and running beautifully, and all the applications are just kicking butt, are so much fun. They're so much fun now because they come up quick and they respond. Unfortunately, though, the Canon camera app that I use to record this podcast continues to crash. So that application might just be too old to run now. But whatever, we'll look into that this week and see if we can't figure that out for next week. And anyway, so the point is that the old laptop passed on into the infinite, and that was a good thing. Actually turned out to be a really good thing. And can you see the fingerprints of the invisible helping hands? Can you? That laptop's an example, you know. So last week, the French site of dog.movie, which is fr.dog.movie, was deployed. Thanks to fabulous translation by Karine and Jordan, who did some web troubleshooting, and the techs at Bluehost, who are my service providers. And I sent it off. I got that thing deployed, and I'm like, all right, let's bite the bullet. I sent an email to CAN, and I got a quick response the next day. They said that, I don't know, let me back up. So I sent an email to CAN, and the point was to ask them, so look, this movie's been going on for a decade plus, and I've also done some test screening on the web. We have done some test screening on the web, myself and all you best beloveds out there who gave feedback on the different scenes. And the rules for CAN are that the movie has to be done, completed in 2018, no later than 2018, and what? And that you cannot have it could not have been shown on the web. So I'm like, okay, I've done these two things. Does this disqualify Daughter of God for CAN? And the response from Bruno was that Daughter of God is eligible for entry into CAN. Woohoo! So we have about 18 days to prepare a screener. Woo doggies, as Judd Clampett used to say. Maybe he still does. And there's a little bonus here. There's been an increase in web hits since CAN responded to my query. So maybe some French people are checking out the site. I guess I could find that out if I go and look at my stats. I didn't do that before this podcast, so maybe that'll have to wait. All right, so we've got, what did I say? About 18 days to get a screener ready. So that means we've got, and we're getting, that means we've gotten into, that's the correct verb tense. We've gotten into full allowance mode. This is all about letting a fabulous screener manifest in the next 18 days. Okay, so how do we do that? How does that happen? Well, it's certainly number one, numero uno, nombre uno, numero, I don't know, whatever. I don't know what it is in French. Un. There's a word in French that means number. I've forgotten it at this moment. Anyway, the most important thing to allowing a fabulous screener to manifest is to cultivate extreme joy. That's number one. It doesn't matter anything else. I mean, everything else is important, whatever. But they are all secondary to cultivating extreme joy. Now, that's the way I see things, as you know by now, as you have heard me say many, many times. So what else? How else do we let a fabulous screener manifest? Well, we have people like art director, prop stylist Melanie. She's already done 3 weird science props for Jerry's Cabin so far. And then she fell down the Hugo Gernsback rabbit hole. Hugo Gernsback was this weird, wacky dude who the Hugo of science fiction, the big award in science fiction, the Hugo is named after him. And I hadn't really thought about it. You know, we're sending the film to Cannes, and who knows, maybe Daughter of God will get the Hugo too. And so I'm like, well, yeah, we should give some props to Hugo Gernsback and maybe even stick him in the story a little bit, because he invented some weird stuff. I mean, he's way into science fiction. I think that's what he called it. But he also was an inventor and made weird stuff and was like selling a wireless device before people even knew what wireless was. This is back way long time ago, more than 100 years, way more than 100 years ago. Anyway, so, and Melanie has also been getting more involved in the story. The last meeting we had yesterday, she's just riffing on stuff and throwing out ideas. And this has happened before, but I really feel like she's taken the bit in her teeth, to use that horse analogy. For Jill, there's a horse analogy for you. Any other horse people out there? She's taken the bit in her teeth reins, whatever. I wish I knew more about things because I could use these little tidbits of vocabulary more appropriately. But whatever, she's just running with it, and that's just cool because she's awesome, and I am really open to the stuff that she's bringing to the table. She definitely shifted a lot of things by bringing the fungus component into the movie. The mycelium. Yes, the mycelium, the neural network of the earth, is now part of Daughter of God because of Melanie. And how else? How else do we bring a fabulous screener, how else do we let a fabulous screener manifest? Well, there's miniatures from Greg and Albert. Then tomorrow I'm going into Traverse City to see those dudes, and I'm going to be picking up a tactical bulldozer and another variant of the Abrams M1A2 tank, the Tusk version, which is supposedly for urban warfare. And there's definitely been some urban warfare in the dog universe. The USA military deployed in the homeland. They got deployed in the homeland to fight beasties and quell insurrection. Not only was there all kinds of crazy things that happened, catastrophic, apocalyptic things that happened, but also people were like really interested in overthrowing the government at that point. So, the U.S. military came home and had their hands full. Yeah. So that's what the Tusk is about. And I'm going to meet those guys tomorrow and pick up those two miniatures. And I'm also giving Albert one more M1A2 kit, a giant 1/16 scale Abram. It's going to be like this big. Am I on screen here? This big. And that's going to be great for close-ups and detail shots, especially that's not really the opening shot anymore because some stuff comes before it, but the shot where we're approaching Uncle Joe's hideout. And these guys, Albert and Greg, have been doing amazing work. I feel like I'm enjoying pretty much a pro miniature deployment here with these guys. They're both really good and getting better. So I don't know. I'm kind of fired up. I mean, the things that you'd want to have in a studio, right? You'd want to have a pretty strong miniature department and prop department. And between Melanie and Albert and Greg, we've got a pretty strong special effects department going here, physical special effects. Now, it would be super cool to be able to recruit a few more VFX people. And again, the universe will provide that when the time comes. How else do we allow a fabulous screener to manifest in the next 18 days? Well, we just hooked up with drone pilot Elijah, and he actually shot some Alberta beach footage yesterday that's pretty promising. I think I probably see a couple shots that I could almost use right now. And this is basically this shot of the Alberta beach. The drone is flying along the Alberta beach, which is Lake Michigan. It's beautiful, big dunes and snowy and pretty remote looking. And that's going to be a backplate for the autonomous Canadian Reaper drones that are trying to locate and assist American refugees. So even though it's Lake Michigan, we're going to pretend it's Lake Superior. And these drones are flying along the coast of Lake Superior looking for refugee Americans to help them out because they made the frickin' crossing across Lake Superior to get to Canada. Yeah, because things in America are pretty bad. Right. But the thing is that they're autonomous and the refugee situation is long since passed because basically a lot of people got wiped out. But the drones are like, whatever, man, we're going to still look. We haven't seen humans in a while, but we're going to still go up and fly and look for them and help them if we can because we're Canadian drones. And that's how Canadian drones are. Yeah. Okay. So, and this shot is going to be a bookend for the U.S. Reaper drones, the autonomous U.S. Reaper drones that are patrolling the Mexican border seeking illegals. Because, we just never got over that whole idea that Mexicans are evil or whatever, and we got to keep them out of the United States because they're stealing American jobs, like picking fruit and vegetables. Holy Toledo. Anyway, so it's a little humorous contrast between the United States of America's perspective on people crossing their border and the Canadian perspective on people crossing their border. And is any of this true? I don't really know. I don't really care. I'm just having fun. I'm making a movie. It's a narrative, folks. It's a story, okay? You can draw whatever parallels to reality you want to, or draw none at all. And what else? Oh, what else? What else do we want to have to allow a fabulous screener to manifest in the next 18 days? Well, we have Roto from Eshin and Risha. We have some Roto left to do. And I think now, cross your fingers, that we've resolved the confusion that we ran into in the past couple months. We had kind of a tricky thing going on where there was some mix-up between what aspect ratio and frame rate they needed to Roto, and so whatever. But I think we got that figured out. And Risha just sent me back her progress on the boot toss shot, which if you want to see that, it's on episode 098, King of the Earth. It's the episode that we introduced, the feedback scene that we introduced in episode 098, King of the Earth. And if you watch that sequence, if you watch that scene, you'll see the crazy color correction, except for one shot where Christina takes a boot and throws it across. And I just was, oh my God, I never had that shot rotoed, so it's got to be rotoed. And so that's what Risha and Eshin have been working on. And what is roto? Who really knows what roto is? Well, you might know if you're a geek, movie geek, but it's what's enabling me to do the crazy color correction in the cabin scenes with Christina and Jerry. And, Melanie and I talked extensively about that. We talked about so much stuff yesterday. It was so fun. And of course, I recorded that. I might just insert that right here, right now, so you can hear it. Speaking of, so I guess that's pretty much everything that I want to talk about right this second. I mean, again, I could go on and on about all the cool things that are allowing a fabulous screener to show up in 18 days. I could talk on and on about them, but we got only so much time to do this podcast. I've got a screener to make. So I just want to share this stuff with you guys because it's fun. It's fun to talk about all the cool things that are happening. And I wish I could tell you all the rest, all the more stuff. There's a few more things. Yeah, a few more cool things. And again, I just want to reiterate to you that what's the most important thing? Well, did I mention joy? Cultivating joy is the most important component of a fabulous screener manifesting within the next 18 days. And one more thing, this is just a very exciting, encouraging bit. It may or may not feature in allowing a fabulous screener to manifest. I like to think it does. But Steve Ziliax is back. Steve Ziliax played Jerry in Daughter of God. He got deported from the United States of America for playing Jerry. Kind of. Yeah, that was pretty much the thing that got him kicked out of the country was being in this movie. And you can find out all about that in, I think, the 5th or something like that episode of the Daughter of Godcast, 005. It's the one entitled Never Bring Cocaine to a Border Crossing, I think it's called. Not bad for me to pull that out of my butt right here in this free-flowing thing, because I didn't actually put it in my notes here. And so Steve and I caught up finally after, 4 or 5 years of very minimal communication 4 or 5 years ago, just whatever, saying hi. We hadn't actually really talked in a long time. And what did we talk about? Well, we talked about Daughter of God, of course. And we talked about ice boating. Steve Ziliaks, I kind of forgot. He's a polymathic guy. He's like into all kinds of things. He can speak Mandarin, right? Wow. I would like to speak Mandarin. But anyway, we talked about ice boating. He got so excited about ice boating. So are we going to get to ice boat before the end of the year? Before the end of the winter? Maybe. Crystal Lake's still kind of crusty, but anything can happen. And if I get that ice boat, those 2 ice boats ready, if they get out on the ice, I wouldn't be surprised if we actually had a physical appearance by Steve Ziliaks to ice boat with us, because now it's been over 10 years since he's been kicked out of the country, and so now he can come back in, no problem, all's well. And he's actually crossed the border a couple times, so we know that that's true. Okay, so there you go. Steve Ziliaks, who played Jerry, he's back. He's back. The prodigal son. Daughter of Godcast, Season 4, Choice, Episode 130, Vive la Fille de Dieu, which roughly translates to Hooray for the Daughter of God. Hooray! How do I sound/look? Water fasting is a lot like voluntarily catching the flu. I mean, there's discomfort and intensity. There's also euphoria and incredible enhancement, which is not like having the flu at all. Greg caught the flu a couple days back, and he still managed to build the Abrams Tusk tank. I'm juggling a lot of balls right now, and running on magic ketones, running on empty, 0-point energy maybe. Everything I've been taught is wrong, maybe because I'm revising the laws of physics. We are revising the laws of physics together, hacking existence. So what once was can no longer be. Whatever the reason, joy, water fasting, amazing collaborators, the best shit ever is going down.